You're listening to the Major Pod Network, the only place where your favorite toy store, card shop, arcade, theme park, and arena are all on the same block. Scratch that major itch.
This is Tony Chimmel, and I'd like to introduce the hosts of the Game Marks podcast, George Feis and Johnny Clash.
Welcome to the Game Marks podcast presented by the Major Pod Network. I am Mr. Anything is Feasible, George Feis.
And I'm the man they call Johnny Clash, and today we are playing Wwe 2K20. I think we already know how this game's going to hold up, but is it going to get a play it forever?
Woo!
Or a future endeavor?
You're fired!
We're also talking about the release of the brand new Wwe 2K22. It has been a long time coming.
I am very excited. I also don't know what side you're on now, because in some videos you're to the left of me, on other set videos you're to the right of me. I don't...
To the left.
Okay. Hey, but as always, guys, do not forget to subscribe and leave a 5-star review for this podcast on both Apple Podcast and Spotify. And follow us on all forms of social media at GameMarksPod. And check out all of the exclusive content we are creating for our Patreon at patreon.com/GameMarksPod. Johnny Clash, this is arguably one of the biggest weeks for this podcast.
So I thought we were done with 2K20, and here we are. We had to play it again one more time, but I think it was great to release it this week, especially we're going to release that playthrough, and we got to play it, which was good, not bad, because now that the new game is out, 2K22 is officially in our hands. We are playing it. We get to see the ultimate comparison, and I am highly impressed.
I've played a couple matches. Now, you and I both said that we're going to dive into the real meat and potatoes of the game through our own playthroughs. Some things we're going to do together. So I haven't dove into the showcase mode or the Rise or GM or anything like that. I've just been doing one-off matches to just get a feel for the game, because it's quite a bit of a learning curve with this game. A lot of new mechanics have been implemented, and while there are some familiarities, there's definitely some new stuff. It's cool. I think it lives up to the tagline. It does hit different.
Oh yeah.
But can we talk about one of the coolest features? At least I think one of the coolest features in the game. It was kind of teased a few weeks ago by a lot of the more famous, well-known content creators. Renders.
I just uploaded mine today.
Oh, such a cool feature. So now when you're going through the menu screen and you're looking at the wrestlers, if you downloaded a Create a Wrestler from the community or you made your own, you can then upload this cutout of the person that you are playing as, and that replaces that kind of menu pose way that it had, where it's like the person... The Create a Wrestler in like the creative suite, where they're just like, I picked this pose and I'm giving them the double buy or whatever. Like, you can upload just a cutout.
Yeah,
like
I think the first one we saw was Jade Cargill too on the internet, and it looked incredible because it was actually her. But then the actual Create a Wrestler too, like, I just went through it. I just created myself. I'm gonna start there, and then I'll get to like doing my friends and stuff. And I'm creating you. And
I would say I can make me. I feel like I could take that challenge. I also have something else that I'm making,
and
maybe something in that case behind us.
Oh boy. And I thought it was a lot smoother, a lot easier. It took me a while to get the actual like face scans down right, because I'm just so bad at like the way you have to cut them. You need like the feathered edge. You can't do like a hard cut, or else it looks like you're wearing it looks like you're Leatherface, and I didn't want that. So that took a few tries. I still didn't get it perfect. I'm gonna upload myself. Sounds weird. In the next couple days, so you guys will be able to search jclash21 and you'll be able to find me and everything else I create. I'm going to work on a GMP arena, but I did start the game with I had to come out swinging. My first match I did after I did the little Drew Gulak tutorial was 2002 Undertaker taking on Kevin Nash in a Hell in a Cell. Now, you had mentioned, or someone else in our Discord mentioned, that the top of the cell is a little awkward, and you might go through randomly. It might not be a direct shot. So Nash, first of all, he was demolishing me. He hit me with a couple moves, and you saw them moving. You saw the top of the cell about to break. But then he hit me with just like he just lifted me up and choked me and slammed me down. And he went through the cell.
Oh.
I stayed towards the edge. Like, I missed the cell, but then 3 of the panels broke.
Oh.
Yeah, so then he came back up because I let him. I wanted to fight on top. And he finally, I tried for the choke slam, but he actually like jackknifed me through the top of the cell. So
we're both playing this on PC. Let's make that as a note. I have officially converted John to the dark side. He is a full-on PC gamer now.
Oh, so much easier, especially for Creation Suite.
Oh, God. It's so much easier for let alone the podcast, but just like there's less things to work. You have more control over the console than
for sure.
you do. But I've experienced 2 bugs that I guess. One is I think either the first or second match was an Elimination Chamber. I think the first match I did was the Hell in the Cell with that same Undertaker that you just did, because I wanted to see what music they gave him.
With a blank black T-shirt.
Yep.
So I'll be uploading that Big Evil logo to put on that.
So that was cool. That it, comes out on the bike. He's got "You Done It Now," which is always a banger. And then I did an Elimination Chamber match, and the whole ring disappeared.
Huh.
So it was just, we were floating. You could see through the floor. And the only thing that was there was the Elimination Chamber itself. It was
interesting.
Yeah, that's the word. That is the right word to use for that.
Yeah, this stuff's going to get patched.
Oh, yeah.
All right, first of all, this game received an 8 out of 10 on IGN, where the last game, I think, got a 4.
Yeah.
So that's a huge step up. And I think the bugs will all be patched quickly. What I loved was when I won, the Undertaker biked out of the ring. I biked away from the ring, and they really put detail into like championship entrances and the end game celebrations and all that. And I think it's going to be this is going to be a long-standing game that people are actually going to enjoy. And I kind of hope they don't come out with one next year so we could enjoy all the features in this one for longer than a year, because there's no way you're going to be able to cover all this.
Well, let's talk more about features and kind of talk about what was leaked / officially announced, and that's all those DLC packs, which we will be covering in more detail as they get released. But the first pack being released is in April. It's be slated for an April 26th release, and it's called the Bonsai Pack. As Yokozuna, Umaga, Rikishi, Omos, and Casey Catanzaro.
One of these things is not like the other, and it's Casey Catanzaro. Why is she in this DLC pack? I guess just to get her out.
Yeah, but it's weird that they're gonna have Casey in the game, but not her tag partner.
I'm so out of the loop. I don't even know who her tag partner is.
Her name is escaping me right now.
Did you see that there are hidden wrestlers that are either in the files, like Bray Wyatt's been discovered, and also there was a this was a big one. There was a what's it called? A content creator that discovered in My Rise there's versions of, say, Alexa Bliss and Road Dogg and all that. Shawn Michaels that you can't play as.
Yes.
But he took the files and he uploaded them into the Creation Suite, so now they're available, which is pretty cool because they're not playable. And I think that's kind of weird, but at the same time, you're still getting them. Like, you're getting Baron Corbin now, so why do you need King Corbin?
Yeah.
But he's there, so just give... I don't know. It's a weird thing.
Yeah. Also, Casey Catanzaro's tag partner is Kaden Carter.
Oh, that's right.
I pictured her in my head. I know what she looks like. I could not remember what her name was.
So not in here.
That was gonna drive me nuts. And then the second pack is Most Wanted pack.
James Storm and
Most Wanted pack releasing May 17th. It's Cactus Jack, the Boogeyman, Vader, Ilya Dragunov, and Indy Hartwell. And
okay.
I don't know if I want the Boogeyman.
No?
Like,
I feel like you could have fun with that. The
you
worms
could.
and stuff. And yeah,
I just feel like there's other...
Yeah, I don't know.
Beggars can't be choosers. The third pack, which arguably I think is the pack that I am most excited about.
I have an issue with this one.
Oh, is called the Stand Backpack.
Goes with your stand-up desk.
Yes, releases June 7th. Hurricane Helms, Stacy Keebler, A-Kid, Wesley, and Nash Carter.
Okay, so excluded from this entire roster in this game is legend, I think Hall of Famer, Molly Holly. Why wouldn't Mighty Molly be in here? Especially, you could do the stuff with Nikki, ASH. I don't know.
Yeah.
I thought that would have been a good addition.
Super Stacy's a thing, right? That was the thing
Super Stacy, and it was Rosie the shit. Superhero in training.
Yeah, superhero in training. Now, I wonder if they're going to give her, if it's just going to be Stacy Keebler, or if it's going to be Stacy Keebler because what did she wear? Like, I know she had a mask. And
yeah, I feel like that was quick.
Like black and gold?
I honestly don't remember. I just remember it being like a very quick thing. It wasn't a long storyline.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah.
We'll have to see what they do. That's kind of it's a good point that you bring up. The next pack, the fourth pack, Clowning Around, releases June 28th, and it is Doink the Clown, Ronda Rousey, the British Bulldog, Mr. T, Dewdrop, and Rick Boogs.
See, that's crazy because Ronda was so prominently featured in 2K20. She left, came back, and now a new game's out. And it's still the last game. Like there's such a long time in between that she's just DLC now.
Well, because they're gonna do her right this time.
So, actually, this is something that I found pretty interesting, and I thought it was cool that you can't get the NWO if you don't pre-order the NWO version like you did. I did not because I figured George has it. I'll play on his if I need to. Also, the Creation Suite is just so good that you could just get them. But within the game, you could still get Hogan, Nash, Hall, other than their NWO outfit. So you could just kind of update them, right?
Yeah.
5 versions of the Undertaker too is pretty cool.
That I gotta tell you, I usually am not a big fan of the multiple versions, but with the exception of Taker and Ray, there's not a lot. You're not getting like 17 versions of a bunch of people.
Right, and also the load time on when the characters select when you're scrolling through, because they're renders and not full on like 3D characters, it's so quick. The menu's so quick.
Yeah, that's very true. You know what? There's one more pack to go through, and I want you to take us through it.
Oh, this is actually the one I'm most excited about, because on July 19th, you are getting the whole damn pack, which features Rob Van Dam, Logan Paul, Machine Gun Kelly, L.A. Knight, Zia Lee, Commander Aziz, and Saray? Is that Saray? I don't know who that is. George is looking it up.
Yo, you don't know who Saray is?
I don't. Am I supposed to? Yeah, I've seen her before, but I don't...
Yeah. I thought that you would know.
Why?
I don't know.
Why would I know that?
I don't know.
Okay. Sorry.
I figured that you would.
I can't even tell you the last time I watched NXT. So
I feel like I was to say, I feel like you're the kind of person who's just like randomly like, yeah, let's see what NXT's got going on. And then you watch and be like, oh, who's this person? And then like this one person will stick in your mind.
I'm glad you feel that way, but
no.
You're mistaken.
I know.
But very exciting stuff here for 2K22. We want to know what are you doing? What are you creating? Are you guys doing My Rise, which I'm very excited to dive into. I'm ready for the Rey Mysterio showcase mode. I was going to do that right away, just rip through some matches, but I kind of want to stream it and have some content with that because it's going to be a lot of fun. And the other Easter egg. If Eddie Guerrero wins the match against Rey Mysterio, he sitting there, his celebration is holding Rey's masks. That's a nice little Easter egg. I like it. A lot of thought put into this game.
There's a lot of things that we haven't seen yet, mainly because we haven't, like we mentioned earlier, haven't really done our dive into this game yet. But just based on what we've seen, I think we're okay. I think we're going to be
more
all
than
right.
okay. This is
I think
sustainable.
we're going to be all right this year.
Whatever they built, I hope they're able to just keep. Listen, the rumors were out there this week that WWE was shopping with EA Sports. I feel like that would just be another setback, You don't build this game from the ground up. Hopefully this sways them to stay with 2K, and there's definitely things to fix for sure. But this is where it has to be. But are you ready to continue our conversation on 2K and go back to the previous game? Tiptoe, put our nostalgia goggles on, do that little deep dive. Are you ready?
You can see my face right now if you're watching on Patreon. I'm trying to think of things to keep talking about 22 because I really.
Well, listen, we'll keep putting them in while we're talking about this also.
All right,
because we have a good comparison right now. We just played both games.
Does this even qualify as nostalgia goggles?
It's been over 800 days, so yes.
All right, well, let's do the deep dive. Here we go. All right. Regrettably, we're going to start now. WWE 2K20, released October 22nd, 2019, published by 2K, developed by Visual Concepts, and this is available for Windows, PlayStation 4, Xbox One. And the other games that are available in 2019, you have WWE Universe Mobile, WWE Universe Mobile, and Action Arcade Wrestling. What a stark contrast between this game and Action Arcade Wrestling.
So I think that was also kind of an issue with this game not being so well received. There was nothing else to play that people clung on to 2K19 for so long. And I kind of lost my train of thought here. I think that kind of sparked the wave of, say, like the Retromania and all those games that did come back out, and we're now loaded with games. And there's a little tidbit here also about the separation from, yes, a tidbit, from Ukes that affects kind of now, that we'll get into a little bit later. But when you said you weren't sure if this game was we really had to put on the nostalgia goggles if it qualifies as nostalgia.
It's a 2019 game.
For me, this reminds me of how excited we were when this game was coming out. We just started this podcast. I picture myself in my old little desk corner talking about the Samoa Joe that we saw, talking about Bianca Belair's hair screwing up in that video where it was like just cardboard. And I don't
talking to Chris Statlander.
Right? We had a signed copy. Okay, here's another perspective. In the time that this game came out, we had a copy signed by her, because she did the mocap for it.
Yep. And
she was on pay-per-view this weekend with the other company. So all that happened from release to release.
Well, let's talk about, here's a little fun fact that I don't think we mentioned it, but the number one listed person in this year's game in 2K22, the number one person that's listed on the mocap, Scorpio Sky.
That's crazy.
Literally the first person.
However, I think they do use like Impact guys, and you could be like signed to another company because this is through 2K. This is not through WWE. And we talked to, like you said, we talked to Chris, we talked to Matt and Brian, we talked to Justin Leeper, and I'm hoping I got some messages out. We can get some of the 2K22 mocappers involved this year. So that would be pretty cool. If you know of any, please send them our way.
Oh, absolutely. So, I mean, where do we start with this?
We start with, I think, the big news surrounding this game, which was this is the first game since the year 2000 that Ukes was not involved with the WWE game and Visual Concepts took over. So there was everyone speculating why. But to be honest, their statement was, we're making another wrestling game to cover the market. And I feel like that's when WWE usually steps in and says, hey, no, don't do that. Because we've seen it in the past with, I think, Acclaim. Don't quote me on that. But I feel like this could lead to what the AEW game is going to be. Whatever they were working on, because we haven't heard anything from it since. And there was a statement from WWE on the Video Game Chronicles where they said, as we've continued to invest in the WWE 2K franchise, we've seen the visual concepts team display incredible passion, talent, and commitment to the future of the series. We thank Ukes for their years of partnership, and we are excited to see what visual concept teams bring to the franchise moving forward. And I'm just gonna.
What did they bring, John? Yeah,
had to throw that there. Wow, what a what a statement they put out, and what a result! Because there had to be something. I mean, the rumor was they took the build from 2K16 and built upon that rather than 2K19, and this game just fell flat. Yeah,
I mean, I'm in our notes right now, which if you are a part of our Patreon, you have access to these notes as well. But I'm scrolling down to the art style section just because I want a reminder while we're talking about this, because the version that we played is now the version that is less buggy. It had several large patches that went into it. But just, scrolling through these pictures, getting a reminder of what this game actually was. You've got No Face Becky Lynch. You've got what I have affectionately referred to as melting Baron Corbin, and then it's just
stuck in the rope, stuck in the rings.
To read
there was the hair,
that statement, and then see these pictures is just like, what happened?
I know with my my career character, I remember their hair would kind of stay in place, but as you moved, the hair would just stretch. Like stuck to that one anchor point.
Either that or
that never
stay
fixed.
Still, and the hair would just go all over.
Over.
Like
do that again.
Standing in front of like a jet engine, it would just blow behind you for no reason.
I'm gonna gift that.
I'm in the back. Like I'm in a backstage segment. Where the hell is this high power fan coming from?
Yeah, it was very awkward. Did you finish the My Career mode?
I regrettably finished everything for the game.
Okay, so I got to the part where you had to wrestle Lita in the outdoor arena. I think that Ribby, was that where Ribby was? Ribby was Jerry Lawler, right? For the Trey storyline, but I think the what was her name? Red. I think she wrestled Lita on that show, and it took me 5 tries, and I just said, well, I'm done here, because it just took forever to boost your attributes, and I just couldn't beat Lita, and Ribby was sitting there staring at me like a little shit, and Ribby is a giant pork rib for whoever doesn't know.
Smart in avoiding this game.
But let's go through the modes here, because there was a showcase mode which featured the 4 horsewomen, Bayley, Becky Lynch, Charlotte, and Sasha Banks, and there were, like they do previous years, like with Stunning Steve Austin, and this year with Rey Mysterio, you're getting all the versions, so you get like debut Becky, and steampunk and all that, and the first Charlotte where she just was a plain generic wrestler and Blue all gear. That. But you take control of them, and you only get 15 matches, and you run through the whole Women's Evolution. There was a 2K tower featured around Roman Reigns, and this kind of led from Extreme Rules 2013 as a member of the Shield all the way to Stomping Grounds in 2019. I was never a big tower guy, so I can't really speak well to that other than I knew it existed. I don't think I ever gave it a shot. I think I was more in the AJ Tower from 2K19. But like we said, this game featured the first ever female story, as we see this year, and that they are now 2 separate stories. It's set in 2029, where Red and Trey are inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame as members of the class of 2029, and this happens before Mania 45 in Las Vegas. Now, this is a continuation of your story from 2K19, but 11 years after. And there's also a really cool Easter egg in here where your Trey is sitting there in the locker room. He picks up his phone. He goes, "Oh, President Dwayne texted me." Congratulations. Just a cool little Easter egg. But the story...
More of a reality in the coming years than you think.
The story was just all over the place because you're making your Hall of Fame speech. It shows you backstage at the Hall of Fame talking to X-Pac, talking to Ronda, and it takes you back towards like your journey to becoming a superstar in the WWE. But it takes forever to get there. Like
Yeah,
forever.
the story itself is cool.
Yeah, and then like AJ will come up to you and be like, "Hey, remember that street fight we had?" And it'll just go to a street fight, or like, "Hey, remember you were on
X-Pac.
Nitro?" And yeah, X-Pac too. And it was just all over the place, and it didn't hold me. Like I didn't want to continue it because I didn't care what happened next. Like especially knowing you're going into the Hall of Fame, like you know, you're there, like you're here already.
Storyline, like the concept of it was cool. Like I thought it was an interesting
Corn City. It was just so corny.
Oh yeah, if you give someone like the overhead view of this, where you're like an elevator pitch, you're just like, here's the storyline for 2K20. You know, we're gonna take it from this view of two lifelong wrestling fans who followed their dreams, and the story picks up the night before they're getting inducted into the Hall of Fame, and the rest of the storyline is just them reliving their career through the ups, through the downs, and all the challenges. Like, and it starts in like their indie days before they got signed. Like on paper, that sounds like it could be something interesting, and I don't know what the equivalent of then the bell rang, but then the bell rang.
Yeah, and obviously you have to create Red and Trey. So Red was clearly me, and I think I made Trey like a Sting female version. I don't remember.
Wait, Trey is the guy.
Red, yeah.
Red is the girl.
Yeah.
You said you made Red you.
Oh, whatever. Oh God, so sue me, George.
I just wanted to make sure that we.
Okay, yeah, that would have been the end of the show.
That's it.
All right.
Hang them up. Make sure to like us on all forms of social media. We'll see you next week. Bye.
I don't know. The story didn't grab me. I think there was that one bug me and you were playing live on stream where there was just a chair on the ground and it just started twitching and flopping like a flounder, and
yeah. So
that was amongst many.
When I think of this game, the first thing that comes to mind is how I was so set on doing individual playthrough videos on our YouTube, where it's just like, John doesn't want to play this game. He's already checked out on it. So I'm just going to go through and I'll play through like the storyline so that we can have that content. I got so frustrated and so annoyed sitting alone playing through this game and struggling through it that I actually said, I can't make the YouTube videos anymore. This has to be something that I play on stream.
You did one, right?
I did 2 videos, and then I just played throughout the rest of the game on Twitch because I needed to live through this with other people so that like when this episode inevitably happened and I recalled all of the shitty things that happened in this game while we were playing, at least I have witnesses of people who like, no, we were there. Like this glitch happened when George played this. We watched this.
Yeah. All right, but let's talk about the actual matches in this game. There are a lot. There are a lot of variations. We're not going to read them all, but we'll give you the one-on-ones. There's normal, falls count anywhere, extreme rules, ladder, table, TLC, Hell in a Cell, steel cage, Iron Man, last man standing, no holds barred, submission, backstage brawl, and the new brawls, which feature a fight in special arenas. Now, you also have your tag team, your triple threat, your fatal 4-way, your 5-man, which is odd, your 6-man, and of course you could do all the variations of those matches. Some of them you can't because of the participant amount. There's 8-man matches, which I think an 8-man ladder 4-way tag is pretty cool. I think if that's in
6-man tag ladder match.
We got to do this in 2K22 if you're allowed.
I did it. It's chaos. It's total chaos because it's first fall, so it's just.
Oh yeah, let's do it.
It's just absolute chaos. I'll play right after this.
Okay. And then there's handicap matches. Your Royal Rumble. Now there is also a men's and women's Royal Rumble, just like real life, and of course your tournaments, which I don't think I knew that some of these were in here, but you have 1-on-1, 2-on-2, tag team, which is the same thing. I'm not sure why that's separated. But then the Dusty Classic I didn't know existed, and the Mixed Match Challenge, I kind of remember that being a thing, but I feel like the Dusty Classic would have been cool.
Yeah, I don't think I mean, we're not big tournament players on this game.
No.
I mean, like we had a tournament for a long time, but it was never like we never formatted it like a tournament.
Yeah.
But I know that the easiest way to describe all the match types that you read through in the one-on-one is like pretty much everything that John read for the one-on-one, with the exception of the brawls, is available for every other match type that you can do. And then obviously there's elimination chamber.
Yeah.
There's a 10, 20, 30 person Royal Rumble.
That's something I haven't done in a while. A Royal Rumble on like a new gen game, like even 20. I don't think I used to do. It's
almost too easy to eliminate people in 2K22.
So I wonder what this one's like. All right, we're gonna have to give that a shot too.
Yeah, I'm down. You don't have to ask me twice to play the game. I love it.
But this was the first game where you could choose weapons underneath the ring with the 6 slots. You could actually pick what goes in each 6 slot. I thought that was cool. And they're now also available in the Hell in a Cell. Now, if you play the Hell in a Cell, you could only walk around the ring, do a certain amount of punches and grapples. You can't do like full-fledged suplexes and whatever. That's a separate moveset. But I realized yesterday when playing that it's even a separate moveset when you exit the cell and you're still around the arena, which I get it.
As long as you're in like a confined, smaller space, you're not going to be doing,
but you can get weapons.
Destroyers on ringside.
You can't use the weapons. You just throw them in the ring, but it's still cool that they're there. And this is also the first time you could use the red version of the Hell in a Cell.
So what I saw someone do in a video it may have even been for this game, but I saw someone recreate it, I suppose. They pretty much did the Mankind cage spot where he falls through the top of the cage and lands on the chair.
Yeah.
In 2K20, and then they were like, hey, guess what? I did it again. And they did it they put them side by side, and they did it again in 2K22, and it's just like, yeah, that's like you look at that and you're like, that's a video game thing, and then you remember that really happened in real life.
Granted, the Hell in a Cell back then was way, way shorter.
Yes.
Probably half the size it is now, but still, Shane jumped off, right?
Nuts.
But we got a big roster here. I think the roster was actually an issue when this game was first coming out because it was cut from the previous year. And I know this year we have 160 plus. We have to more than split it. I think we go every other here.
That's what I'm saying. Like you do Raw, I'll do SmackDown.
Yeah, then NXT 205. Oh boy. All right.
Good luck.
You want me to start it?
Yeah, sure.
All right, your Raw brand. You have AJ Styles. Akam? How do you say that name? Akam? I think I've been in segments with him, and I still don't know. Apollo Crews, Baron Corbin, Bobby Lashley, Braun Strowman, Bray Wyatt, Brock Lesnar, Cedric Alexander, Cesaro, Chad Gable, Kurt Hawkins, friend of the pod, Dash Wilder, Dolph Ziggler, Drew McIntyre, EC3 controlling his narrative, Eric Young, Heath Slater, baby, Jimmy Uso, Jey Uso, Jinder Mahal, John Cena, Carl Anderson, Luke Gallows, The Miz, Mojo Rawley, No Way Jose, Rey Mysterio, Rezar, Ricochet, Bobby Roode, Sami Zayn, I'm losing my breath, Samoa Joe, Scott Dawson, Seth Rollins, Titus O'Neil, Triple H, Zack Ryder, Alexa Bliss, Alicia Fox, Becky Lynch, Dana Brooke, Lacey Evans, whatever happened to her, Naomi, Natalya, Nia Jax, Nikki Cross, Ronda Rousey, Ruby Riott, Sarah Logan. I read two of those at the same time. I said Tasha Banks, Sasha Banks, and Tamina. SmackDown, you're it.
All right, SmackDown Live. Aleister Black, Ali, Andrade, Big E. Get well soon, Big E. Holy crap, man. Speedy recovery. The Big Show, Bo Dallas, Buddy Murphy, Curtis Axel, Daniel Bryan, Elias. Both versions of Finn Balor, regular and the Demon. Harper, Jeff Hardy, Kane, Kevin Owens, Kofi Kingston, Lars Sullivan, Matt Hardy, Otis, R-Truth, Randy Orton, Roman Reigns, Rowan, Rusev, Shane McMahon, Sheamus, Shelton Benjamin, Shinsuke Nakamura, Sin Cara, Tucker, Xavier Woods, Asuka, Bayley, Billie Kay, Carmella, Charlotte Flair, Ember Moon, Kairi Sane, Lana, Liv Morgan, Mandy Rose, Maurice, Mickey James, Paige, Peyton Royce, Sonya Deville, and Zelina Vega.
Another perspective, Luke Harper. Man, this game really was a long time ago. Yeah. NXT and NXT UK, you have Adam Cole, Angelo Dawkins, Bobby Fish, Fandango, Humberto Carrillo, whatever happened to him? Johnny Gargano, Cassius Ohno, Kyle O'Reilly.
Watch the show. He's on TV like every week.
Oh, wow. Keith Lee, Matt Riddle, Montez Ford, Noam Dar, Oni Lorcan, Roderick Strong, Shane Thorne, Tommaso Ciampa, Tyler Bate, Tyler Breeze, Velveteen something. I'm not going to continue that one. Ovaltine Dream. Come on. Bianca Belair, Candice LeRae, Dakota Kai, Io Shirai, Mia Yim, Rhea Ripley, Shayna Baszler, and Toni Storm.
All right, your 205 Live roster is Akira Tozawa, Arya Daivari, The Brian Kendrick, Drew Gulak, Gentleman Jack Gallagher, Grand Metalik Kalisto, Lindsay Dorado, and Tony Nese. And because that one was really short, I will also read the Legends retro and storyline characters. Here you go. You have Andre the Giant Batista, the Big Boss Man Booker T, Bret the Hitman Hart, Brutus the fucking Barber Beefcake, Christian, Cole Quinn, Legend in the 2K series, Diesel, Dusty Rhodes, Eddie Guerrero, Edge, El Mago Jr., Goldberg, Jake Roberts, Jim Neidhart, Kevin Nash, Kurt Angle from 2001 and 2006, Mr. McMahon, Papa Shango, Randy Savage, Razor, Ramon, the best character in the game, Riley Flash, the second best character in the game, Ribby. You have Ric Flair from 1988 and from 1991, Ricky Steamboat, The Rock, Roddy Piper, Scott Hall, Shawn Michaels from 05 and 1997, Steve Austin, Sting from 91 and 1999, Ted DiBiase, Triple H from 2001, Ultimate Warrior, Undertaker from just the regular modern Undertaker, 2002 and 1991, and X-Pac.
All right, now your female legends. You have Beth Phoenix, Brooklyn Von Braun, Josie Jane, Lita, Molly Holly, Stephanie McMahon, and Trish Stratus. That's it. That's all of them. Now, your managers, you have Bobby Heenan, Drake Maverick, Mr. McMahon, Paul Heyman, Samir Singh, Stephanie McMahon, and Sunil Singh. What a who's who of the current day roster, released roster, AEW roster, and canceled people.
This is a this is a really messed up game of where are they now.
Oh yeah, this is terrible.
For all the wrong reasons.
We should deep dive that one day.
No, I don't. I don't want to do that at all. You know what? Here's the only deep dive you need to know. Clash wrestled Heath, and Matt and Brian are our bosses. That's it. That's the best. Where are they now?
I hate when you call them our bosses. Everyone else is all elite.
It's like he doesn't know that that's the reason I do it.
That's why you do most of the stuff you do. But all right, you also have arenas here, your base arenas, which are new in the game. You have Raw, SmackDown, NXT, Main Event, 205 Live, Backlash, Extreme Rules, SummerSlam, Hell in a Cell, Super Showdown, Mae Young Classic, Evolution, Survivor Series, TLC, UK TakeOver, Blackpool, NXT TakeOver, Phoenix, Royal Rumble, Elimination Chamber, Fastlane, NXT TakeOver New York, WrestleMania 35, and Money in the Bank. George, take the classic arenas.
All right, your classic arenas. You've got Raw from 2017, Raw from 2013, Raw from 1998, SmackDown 2000, Nitro from 1998, Mania 34, the Mix Max Challenge, Clash of Champions 2017, Mania 33, Fastlane 2017, The Elimination Chamber from 2017, Hell in a Cell 2016, Backlash 2016, Mania 32, Night of Champions 2015, TakeOver Brooklyn, TakeOver Rival, regular NXT TakeOver, SummerSlam 98, Halloween Havoc 98, and you know what? Because I'm already on a roll. Special Arenas, Mania 2029. What happened?
Butter him up.
Butter 'em up. Special Arenas, Mania 2029, Winterfest, Riley Flash's Wrestling Academy, the best wrestling academy in the game, New Day Arena, LA Hall, High School Gym Rundown, High School Gym, Hell's Coliseum, and the Baseball Stadium.
When we were just reading Raw 98, I had a flashback to the My Career mode, and that you have to do like a old match in Raw 98, I think.
Yeah,
and
it's like film fantasy.
Yeah, it's like all film grainy. But you know what else I remembered from My Career mode, which sparked that? You can't skip the cutscenes. So if you lose, you have to go back and watch. This was also part of the Lita thing that I hated, and I didn't do it. So once you lose once, you now have to wait like for a 7-minute like back and forth promo before you have to jump in a game. Anyway, your backstage arenas, the Wyatt Compound, which we've gone to many times, Chaos at the Crypt, Pin Drop Plaza, which is an empty arena, Overlord's Coliseum, the Scrapyard, Southpaw Summer Breakout 87, Max Headlocks Arcade, the Mainframe, Neo Osaka's District 4, and of course your Create an Arena where you have 50 preset starting templates, which is pretty cool.
And the DLC for this game,
was there a bigger letdown than some of these?
It's all over the place. The most prominent one, probably the one that most people got, was the Bump in the Night. That is the one that featured The Fiend. Why he was a DLC character, I will never understand.
Yeah, he's kind of
He was pre-order bonus too, if memory serves. But Bump in the Night, you have Wasteland Wanderers, which is just like Mad Max steampunk versions of some of the wrestlers with arenas to match. Southpaw Regional Wrestling, which if you've listened to several other podcasts, you know that what a letdown that ended up being in the second season and what it could have potentially been. And then you have the Empire of Tomorrow, which is like a futuristic,
like Tron.
Yeah, pretty much. All of these have their own towers that you can go through, cosmetics that you can use for your creator wrestler. But
you don't want this in a wrestling game. I want wrestlers as DLC. I want
wrestlers. Give me wrestlers.
I want Sheamus in a suit.
Yeah, I don't want Shaun of the Dead Sheamus.
Which is why Southpaw Regional Wrestling was so cool, and we learned about that before the release of this game, before that DLC was announced from unsaid sources, and we got really hyped for it, and it just kind of fell flat, and nobody really cared for it. And I don't know. I guess season 2 of the show not being as good as it should have been also.
Oh yeah, well,
a little bit. I don't know.
When they had Mark and Brian talked to Gallows when Broski was away, and he talked about the whole thing and how it should have been. So like just to hear him be as excited as he was for like, we had all these great ideas and all these things were going to happen, and like then they were going to put us in the game, and then like everything shit the bed. Like it's like it was. You knew and you could hear the amount of potential that could have been there, and like, this could have spun off into its own game. Like this could have been, imagine fantasy booking. Imagine Southpaw Regional Wrestling gets this DLC, incredible success. The game is a success. The DLC is a success. Season 2 is everything that it should have been, and then Battlegrounds becomes the Southpaw game.
Yeah.
Comical, over the top, everything is like insane.
But here's the thing that they were also talking about, which Gallows and Brian said, like they do the shows now with Impact where they're set in like the 80s, but how many matches in a row could a modern day crowd watch, or like say in this case playthrough, that are, all right brother, we're gonna lock up, you're gonna take my head, we're gonna bounce off, give me your shoulder tackle, like you don't want to watch that. It's boring.
It's like sounds like you're describing every GMP64 match we've ever had.
Yeah, totally. But I don't know. You don't want that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a time and a place for everything. It's just
agreed.
There is one more thing that we have to talk about in terms of things that you could get for this game, and that is the 20th anniversary SmackDown bundle, the big blue box.
For the big blue box brand. And that's literally like all it was. It was the collector's edition. It came with the game, with that special SmackDown packaging, which, come on, like what even is that? Like what, is that a money grab? It's a display item, I guess, but now the flop of this game, you don't even want that. It also came with the accelerator, which accelerated your characters. You had the 2K20 My Player Kickstart, complete set of 2K20 original content packages, additional bonus digital content including playable superstars, Chyna in her first 2K appearance, Hulk Hogan, $500 shirt The Rock, and Rock and Sock Connection Mankind. Now the physical collectibles also included a SmackDown ring skirt relic piece from 2002 to 2008. Now it shows the old SmackDown where the ring imploded with Big Show and Brock, but I doubt that's what you're getting if it's watch out. Like 7-year gap or whatever it is. You get a legend autograph plaque by Kurt Angle, Rey Mysterio, or Edge, which we will get to in a minute. And WWE Supercard limited edition cards, and that is still something we get today. Let's talk about the trailer quick, because obviously the cover, everybody knows Becky Lynch and Roman Reigns. There was a really cool trailer where it was like a dinner party, and Hulk Hogan's there, Sting's there, Stone Cold's there. They're all in their suits, their tuxedos, hors d'oeuvres are being passed around. Becky crashes in through the top, breaking the glass ceiling. And they kind of point to like the owner of the house, and it's Hulk Hogan in the end, and it's a pretty funny commercial. Too bad it's a terrible game.
I would say it's a great commercial for a horrible game.
Yeah. But let's go back to the cover for a minute, because this was groundbreaking. The first time 2 players have been on the cover. One's a female, one's Roman Reigns, and blah, blah, blah. But It was cool. It was a cool cover. We ripped it off many times.
We had a lot of segments on the early versions of this show where we were just like, hey, remember when they made this big deal that Becky was the first female on the game? And then we went back and literally looked at every single wrestling game from the early 2000s. And it was just like, oh, look, there's Tori Wilson and Stacy Keibler.
They never officially said that. Like WWE and 2K never officially like said that, but that was just kind of like the Twitter buzz, you know?
Yeah.
But
that was like another thing that people built into the hype of the game.
Right,
I just remember it being everywhere.
Both Day of Reckoning covers. So I think the back cover is pretty lackluster. It's just kind of pictures of 3 screenshots, John Cena, and then it just goes through the match types, and it goes through. There's just way too much text. There's way too many copyright text and warnings and co-ops and whatnot, and you don't need all that. I know you're looking.
It's very text heavy, but like for all the wrong reasons. Like if you're text heavy because you're like describing all of the things, or for some odd reason you're listing all of the wrestlers. Like, okay, fine, but at least you're talking about features. This thing is 99% like warnings and copyright.
Yeah, and you know what's still like really awkward to see is not the Ukes logo or even like the THQ logo, which I know has been gone a long time. Like you still expect to see it. Like it's going to take a while to get used to this Visual Concepts logo.
So what you have in the notes is the Xbox version of the cover. Apparently, according to Google, the digital or not the digital
back cover, yeah.
No, what's the deluxe version? Is a little bit of it like a different format.
Maybe. I know that the deluxe version has like the gold trim around it.
Yeah,
the front cover. Yeah,
where all of that big text about like for home use only and the online multiplayer is it like in a white box on the bottom, and there's no John Cena on the back. It has the NXT UK logo.
Yeah, different variations.
A lot of different things than we've come to expect when looking at back covers than we've seen in the past. Which, I mean,
think of even how far Roman's come in the past 900 days since this game's been out, right? They're like, Roman on the cover, and now he's back to being top of the world.
Oh yeah, all right. Is it time to dive into the the game itself now, like the actual visual presentation of this game? Because
yeah, there's not much to be said that we didn't already say. It was just broken. Everyone looked like, remember when we made fun of WrestleMania 21 and the way that the face scan looked on the roster page? Everyone actually looks like that in this game. I just look at the comparisons. We posted some from Edge from that game to this game, from Booker T. Looks great in 2K22. Everyone just had like a weirdness to them that wasn't like an actual scan. I don't know. I mean, look at Becky's scan from the cover of the game to like what she looked like in the game, and that's with the face on, not the face melting off.
I just don't understand. Like, there's no way that they didn't like test this game.
They had to. I don't.
Or maybe they didn't, and that's why it's like this. But like, how do you let this happen?
Well, that's actually coming up in our what's it called? Our soft lock. Oh, okay, sure, Willow.
Running from Willow.
That's actually coming up. Okay,
leave it all in. This is real time.
That's actually coming up in our soft lock conversation later. So we're going to wait on that to talk about developers and broken games. But yeah, everything just seemed bulky in this game, and the textures were all off. And there's still some stuff when you play 2K22, like some of the motions and all that you're like, okay, they reused this, but not in a bad way. But this game, everything was in the bad way.
Yeah, everything just... I'm trying to think of what the right word is. It almost is like... It's almost like everything was just like 65%. Like, it was just like, we have this asset. It's 65% done. Like, just put it in the game.
Yeah, the refs were broken. Like, Their body parts were all over the place. The ropes were very rubbery and would get stuck to you, and you would disappear and twitch, and it was just really...
The ropes were like actually almost magnetic, where they would like seek out your wrestler to become attached to it. Like you could be a good 3 feet away from the ropes, and it'd be like, nope, your arm, like a faint piece of this model's hair that cannot be registered on the console is now dragging this rope over into the middle of the ring now. And yeah, you talked about the ring steps and how bringing those into the ring made it so that you like kind of sunk into the ring and we're doing this weird Russian squat walk thing.
Yeah.
A lot of awkwardness is the word I was looking for.
Yeah, I wasn't going to correct it.
It was like the Russian dance and the sumo squat combination.
Yeah, I think it was all a little weird. You know what else was weird? Did you know? Did you know Eminem was reported to be curating the soundtrack of the game in early development, but talks with the rapper fell through after the news was leaked before it was made official?
Did you know WWE 2K20 is the first game since WWE All-Stars to have multiple wrestlers featured on the cover?
Did you know WWE 2K20 is available on eBay still from $17.99 to $38.99, brand new?
Way too much.
Look in the Steam store; it's still $50, $60 even. Yeah,
$5 bargain bin.
$5 bargain bin. That's never going to happen because it's got that big WW logo on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well,
this game stress you out? It stresses me out.
Yeah, it's
feeling a little tense.
Yeah. Is it time? Is it time for you to play that relaxing music?
It's not going to be very relaxing for this game, but it's time for some ratings and reviews, some R&R. All right, Metacritic. PC gets a 43 out of 100, so does the PS4. Xbox One gets a 45 out of 100. For some reason, that one's a little better. Now, publications, we have GameSpot, gives this game a 2 out of 10. Game Radar gives it a 2.5 out of 5 stars. IGN, like we said earlier, a 4.3 out of 10. And Shaq News with a 3 out of 10.
Did you say Shaq Fu?
No, I did not. Now, Brian Mazik of Forbes stated that while a few of the legacy strengths, such as the Creation Suite, are still strong, the most important part, the gameplay, is in a bad place. IGN's Brian Fowler said the game was a mess and that the game's quality had degraded since its predecessor, and many of the character models looked like they had crawled out of the PS2 era wrestling games. Game Radar Plus's Ben Wilson gave the verdict that WWE 2K20 plays like a work-in-progress demo that's yet to be stress-tested, but there's a decent game somewhere under the hot mess. That's the best way to put it, I guess. You could still have fun with this game. It just frustrates the shit out of you. Now, in April 2020's WWE first quarter earnings call, Vince McMahon asked if 2K21 was canceled, and he turned it over to the CFO, Frank Riddick, who revealed that the game was canceled. And now, on April 27th, a few weeks later, 2K announced in its place a spin-off title, WWE 2K Battlegrounds, which I wouldn't say it's got the best reception, but not the worst. It's kind of a money grab,
it's
pay to win.
It's good in small doses, like to pick it up, play a couple matches, put it down, don't think about it for 6 months.
It's a mobile game on a console.
That is surprisingly accurate.
Yeah. But you heard from the professionals. You heard from Vince McMahon. Now it's time to hear from Johnny and George, because right now, it's time to rate the game.
The game!
Gotta get a watch one day. This doesn't work if I don't wear a watch. 3, 2, 1, John.
3, 2, 1.
Hit the button. Hit it.
You're fired!
Double fuge. It's not even a question. I sold the game really quickly. I know you bought it on PC, I think, but I had the physical copy. I should have kept the autographed one, but we gave that away as a prize for Game Baree that year. Yeah, future endeavor. We're never gonna play that game again.
You know what? I will admit, there would be random times throughout the last year where I'm like, I just want to play a wrestling game that's not...
That's why I was so hyped for this one.
So I would just like randomly... Because we play a game every week. And on top of that, we also have GMP64, where we're playing No Mercy a lot.
Right.
So I would want something that's like a break from that. And I would just be like, you know what? I'm gonna go give it a shot. I would play 3 matches and I'm like, why did I buy this game?
I should have never got rid of 2K19 because I was missing it hard, and that was also a hefty price still.
It is,
Steam.
yeah. All of them are. Everything on Steam.
It held its crown for 2 years, so good for 2K19. That one had a great story mode.
Yeah. Double future endeavor from us.
Double future. But are you ready to enter the soft lock?
It's time.
Final round. Fight!
All right, so soft lock. Every week, we are picking from the mega marks. They are going to give us a topic where we have to debate back and forth. It is a video game topic. And this week, Jamie Patterson says, I would like to know your stances on the responsibility of developers when they release a game this broken.
You can kick us off this week.
It's 100% on the developers. How can you put out a game like this? We said it many times. We even saw it with 2K20 that if a game's broke, delay it. Keep delaying it. Delay it until it's perfect because people are going to complain. That's going to turn them off. Your game's not going to sell if it's broken. And a case like this, it took 2 years where that game was still in limbo before you got something that wasn't broken. Like, I know I went back. I played like Retromania and all that. Remember the first day of Retromania? There were bugs. We got it, a day or two early.
Yeah,
there were
and
bugs.
I was able
crashed the system.
To record it and send it a video to Mike and be like, hey.
And what happened?
It was patched immediately.
Immediately, a patch. This is what 2K is right there with EA Sports, the most dominant sporting video game brand in the world. Take even sports out of that. One of the most dominant video game companies in the world. You should be able to patch it. You shouldn't even have to patch this. You should be able to put out a game that's not broken at all. And if there are some small things like, I don't know, here and there, maybe a ring rope stretches or something, fine, patch it. But this was hot garbage, and hasn't been a wrestling game I think this bad since I don't know what, like the first Raw or WrestleMania 21 was very broken. I think that was the more broken. Raw wasn't broken; it just had no substance. Great. Yeah.
So this is supposed to be a debate, and I can't debate this with you because it shouldn't happen. Listen, there's a big difference between. Okay, you know what? This will be my debate.
Play devil's advocate for a second.
Well, this will be my debate. I will say on the side of the developers, day one patches are a means to meeting a deadline. When you know that there are small bugs that can be fixed, that you haven't gotten a chance to do, to roll out to the final build, and you have to hit the deadline of like, this game's supposed to be manufactured in stores, available by this date. Day one patches allow developers to hit that time while just fixing little things. So I agree in the sense that like day one patches are okay, as long as they're under a certain size. There should not be a day one patch that's 40 gigs. This is not a Warzone update. There's no reason that should be a thing. But I know a lot of people feel very strongly about day one patches, and they're just like, a game is released. A game should not need a patch the day that it's released. And I understand the feelings from the consumer wanting that, but at the same time, there's a lot of pressure from publishers and studios for the developers to hit their deadlines. And, a small couple megabyte patch allows you to hit that and still be able to put out a quality game. This, on the other hand, this game is not that. It never was that. This was a broken game that was released to the public and needed a 15 gigabyte patch to make it a functioning game. So I'm all for the day one patches. But now not for this game.
But now let's put into perspective. This is happening more and more. There was Battlefield. There was Vanguard. What
about the game that you bought and returned?
Cyberpunk. This is happening over and over again, where I feel like companies are afraid to push their deadline to make a game workable. I have friends that still play Cyberpunk because the patch fixed it and it's a decent game afterwards. But do you think that, let's go back to last week's question where we were talking about companies buying other companies, the competition is so tight that you need to get the game out. Like you need it, like Battlefield blamed the release of Halo on the flop. Like, come on. Hey, as far as I've heard and know, there's nothing wrong with the game of Halo. They did it. They probably had their day one patch and they set sail. They were good. So I don't know. I feel like it's 100% on the developer, but there's also the demand that you need to get this game out or else your game's going to get buried under a better game. So I get it. They rush it and this is what happens.
But it's not even that. Okay. There's the conversation and the debate to be made about a game getting buried by a bigger game, but also that's just competition. That's what this is. It's a business. Anytime that I hear someone, and I feel the same way about this podcast, if another wrestling video game podcast started tomorrow, I wouldn't be mad.
I would listen to it.
I would be like, awesome, John, we got to step up our game because now we got competition. Currently, we are so niche in what we do.
But that book came out.
The book,
and rather than be like, oh well, we already covered all this, I want the damn book.
I want the book. One, because it's a tool to help us with research. Two, it's another thing that I could put in that case, and the cover is fucking awesome. And three, I want to support other things. It's the same thing like with our friends at Secret Levels. They are another video game podcast. They follow a very similar structure to what we do, but they just cover all video games.
But they've covered wrestling games, and we've given them info on those wrestling games.
Am I threatened when they do wrestling video games? No, I'm like, awesome. These guys are great. They have an amazing product. You guys are awesome. Continue to go do awesome things. Like, that's what the video game market should be. Like, if you put out a game and another major company is also putting out a game, that should not be an asterisk next to the reason that your game was bad. If you made a bad game, you made a bad game. Listen, not every episode that we do of this podcast is a home run.
What do you mean?
But that's also because sometimes the games that we play are not home runs, and we try to do as much as we can to make those episodes as interesting as possible when we play either an unreleased game that maybe had 15 minutes worth of content, or we play a game like today that is so broken that we spent literally 45 minutes of this podcast going, well, yeah, the roster is good, but the arenas are great, but like, it's the same thing. You can't blame another game for your game being bad.
Yeah.
Own your shit, whether it's shit or not. Own it.
Yeah. Own it.
That was the soft lock segment of the week. Thank you very much to Soups for that topic. And hey, let us know what you think. If you're in our Discord, if you're on social media.
All right.
All right. Well,
it's time for some gaming news.
Yep.
All right, Gotham Knight has a new release date, with the game now scheduled to be released on October 25th, Warner Brothers announced last week. The Xbox Cloud Gaming will now add mouse and keyboard support in the future. And here's the big one. Here's the one I want to talk about, George. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle collection is coming. We saw it at the PlayStation what's it called? The State of Play, and it's actually coming to more than just PlayStation, and it features all of the old NES games, the Super Nintendo games, the arcade, the fighting games. Everything is there.
You want me to read the list?
Read it, but will you be getting this?
I mean, you and I have talked so many times about us wanting to play through like Turtles in Time and stuff on like either like as.
But we can without buying this.
Yeah, but I also want to at the same time. It's the same thing like when Matt talks about getting fakes. Like, yeah, they have their deal with whatever. But like, it's also a part of like you want to buy them to support it so that more things like that come out. Because imagine.
It's Konami. I mean,
I know, but imagine
rich.
they do something like this, and then like maybe the next one is like every Power Rangers game.
Oh, now you're speaking my language.
Or they do like, what's another one? They do like every. Oh, what if they did every Mickey Mouse game, and you got your freaking Mickey Mouse capades?
Okay. I held it in my hand at Video Game Trading Post last weekend. I actually took a visit. I bought WrestleMania. I don't know if you can see it in my little detolf. I bought WrestleMania for the NES as a display piece because I think the new Hogan Elite will go really nicely with it.
Agreed.
I also had Pro Wrestling in my hand. It was a little pricey for the condition, so I left it. But Mickey Mouse capades was there, so was TMNT. But they were like $10 a piece. I was like, I could probably just go find the ones that I had.
Yeah.
So
for the Cowabunga collection, you've got TMNT, the arcade game. You've got Turtles in Time. You've got the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for the SNES.
Oh, so hard.
You've got TMNT 2, the arcade game for the NES. You've got the Manhattan Project, which is TMNT 3. Tournament Fighters 4, which is Turtles in Time for the Super Nintendo. You have Tournament Fighters for the Super Nintendo.
What else? A lot of games.
Yeah, Hyperstone Heist for the Genesis. Tournament Fighters for the Sega Genesis, which I believe the difference between the SNES version, the Super Nintendo, and the Genesis version is that there are 2 different characters for each one in each version. Then you have Fall of the Foot Clan for Game Boy, Back from the Sewers for the Game Boy, and Radical Rescue for the Game Boy. So you're getting a lot of games.
Yeah, that is a lot. I didn't think it was that many. I watched the trailer and I was like, oh yeah, well the games are here, but
though.
It should be like maybe 25, but that is a lot of games. But the way, like my friends got excited, they sent it to me and I was like, I'll play this once and probably never again.
Yeah.
Until next time I'm like, oh, maybe I'll play that, and that'll sit there again for another 6 months.
I just had an idea, John. Could you imagine if the NHL did something like this?
All the old ones? Yeah, but they feature that in the game now.
Yeah, but imagine if they just had one thing and you got like 92 to 97 or whatever, or 98, or they just did it in 10 years.
Gotta be something with like paying the players, like Mario Lemieux and whoever else. I mean, they all are under EA, so it's possible. I don't know. I don't know.
Well, it's good. There's a lot of possibilities. If this takes off, I mean, we could even get a wrestling version of this.
That'd be cool. All right, but games releasing this week, GTA 5 and GTA 5 Online are coming on the 15th for PS5 and the Xbox Series X. Finally, 2 Point Hospital Speedy Recovery DLC for the PC on March 15th. Tunic for the PC, Xbox, and Xbox One on March 16th. Dark Deity for the Switch. I don't know what that is. Deity. March 17th. Persona 4 Arena Ultimax for the PC, PS4, and Switch on March 17th. Star Tender's Quest for the PSVR on March 17th. This Means Warp for the PC on the 17th. WRC 10 for the Switch on the 17th. It's a big day. Big day, even though St. Patrick's Day. Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin is coming across the board on March 18th. And Who Pressed Mute on Uncle Marcus for the PC, Xbox, PS4, and Switch on March 18th. So pretty big week. A lot of games coming out.
Who Pressed Mute on Uncle Marcus is actually like a throwback style game. It's an FMV murder mystery game.
Okay.
So it's kind of like Skype, Zoom murder mystery Clue with FMVs. It could be interesting. Could be an interesting play.
I'm looking it up. It actually does look kind of cool.
Yeah. But listen, guys, youtube.com/GameMarksPodcast for the weekly playthroughs, which we're going to be doing for this game, WWE 2K20. And also, we're going to be starting the series for 2K22. So if you're interested in that, make sure to go and check it out. We also have exclusive content like GMP 64, all the things that go along with that. The draft got posted. Season 2 is coming. First pay-per-view is the 27th, right, John?
The 27th, and we got some big stuff planned. We're calling it GMP 64 Reloaded.
Oh, baby.
And we'll announce the matches, the cards, and we'll kind of set up the second pay-per-view on this one. But let's talk about the Patreon schedule for this week, because Monday, you're getting the ad-free show with the video version. Hi, guys. Tuesday, you're getting the show notes on Patreon, along with GMP Game Over, where we play Feel the Bang. You're getting Wednesday. Last week, you got a double future endeavor from both of us, a double future.
2 times.
But next week, we're back on George's gameplay, where he plays All Japan Pro Wrestling 93. We should say last week we played WWF Raw for the PC, and it was woof. Now, Thursday, next week, not this week, OMG debuts one more game. We're going to figure out what game we're playing for you guys, and it's going to be fun. But also, this week in our Discord, we're going to announce it for all the Patreon subscribers. We are going to be doing a game night where we play either Jackbox, or I think we might break out the Smack Talk Showdown.
I'm down for that. Either one. We still got to get together to record the Smack Talk Showdown video. All right, John, we're switch up a little bit this week. Why don't you tell everybody what we are playing next week?
All right, next week, we are playing Wrestling Revolution 2D.
Oh, man.
It's a good one.
Cannot wait.
It's a good one, voted on by our Megamarks. But are you ready to finally put WWE 2K20 to bed? Are you getting that boneyard match shovel? I'm
tucking it in. This is going out to pasture. All right. GameMarksPod.com/shop for all of our exclusive merchandise. ProWrestlingTees.com/GameMarksPod for all of our shirt designs. Got some new ones coming up soon. Patreon.com/GameMarksPod for all of the exclusive content you just heard John list off, plus more. You get show notes, all that. It's great. At GameMarksPod on all forms of social media. Make sure you smack that subscribe button and leave us a 5-star rating on both Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. And if you have a product or service that you would like to advertise on this podcast, please reach out to us at GameMarksPod.com. Why do I say .com? GameMarksPod@gmail.com. It feels good. We're done. I'm going to uninstall this game and never look back. Johnny Clash. Are you that way? Are you that way? Whatever way you are, do that thing.
Game over. Marks.
Game Marks Podcast, put them on the radar. Playing rare games, Sega Saturn, no Game Shark. Johnny and George work hard and they play hard. Future endeavor games and put them in the graveyard. From the deep dive to the clash at the feast. How can I get more? That's question of the week. Follow on Twitch, there's nothing that they won't play. Game Marks Podcast every single Monday.